All right, get ready to dive deep into the world of Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines.
Ooh, yes.
You've been wanting to know more about this region, and we've got all sorts of cool sources.
It's a fascinating area.
So let's set the scene for our listeners.
Okay.
Sun-drenched vineyards in the southern Rhone Valley,
Yes.
renowned for those powerful red wines.
Powerful is the right word.
But what's really interesting is
What's that?
our sources hint at some really excellent white and rosé wines, too.
Oh, that's right.
From this very same region.
Yeah, we're going to get into all that.
Now we're talking.
They are.
But first, let's rewind the clock
Okay.
back to the 14th century.
Wow.
This region has been producing wine for that long.
That's a long time.
And get this, it's actually named after those 14th century popes.
The popes.
The ones who moved there from Rome.
Oh, right.
I know.
Interesting.
What's the connection between popes and wine?
Yeah, well, there is one.
It's a good one.
It is. It all started with their love of wine.
They had good taste.
They did.
And they really shaped the winemaking legacy of the region.
For sure.
We're going to get into all that.
Sounds good.
Now, did you know that many of these vineyards
Yeah.
are covered in these smooth stones
Uh-huh.
called galets roulés?
Galets roulés.
They're like natural heaters for the vines,
Interesting.
helping to regulate the temperature.
Wow. Nature's temperature control.
Yeah, so it's not just about the grapes themselves.
Yeah.
It's the whole environment they grow in.
The terroir.
The terroir, exactly.
And that's what makes Châteauneuf-du-Pape so special.
It's a magic combination.
It is.
Climate,
Yes.
soil,
Uh-huh.
and those traditional grape varieties.
That all comes together to give these wines their unique personality.
It's like each element plays a specific role.
Like an orchestra.
I like that analogy.
Okay, so imagine the climate.
Yeah.
It's like the conductor of the orchestra.
Setting the tone.
Yes, setting the overall tone and structure.
And in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, that's that classic Mediterranean climate.
Yes.
Warm, dry summers.
Yes.
Tons of sunshine.
Lots of sunshine.
Perfect for those grapes.
It is.
And then you've got that Mistral wind
Oh, the Mistral.
whipping through the vineyards,
Yes.
drying everything out.
Preventing diseases.
It's like nature's bodyguard for the vines,
Yeah, I like that.
keeping them healthy.
Well, keeping them strong.
And then the soil,
Ah, yes, the soil.
like you're saying.
It's like the instruments in the orchestra.
Okay.
Each soil type contributes its own unique voice.
So you've got those galets roulés.
Yes.
But also sandy soil, clay soil, and limestone.
That's right, a real mix.
And this variety, it creates the perfect stage
It does.
for a symphony of different grape varieties.
A symphony.
And speaking of grape varieties,
Yeah.
get this, Châteauneuf-du-Pape is allowed up to 13 different grapes in their blends.
13, that's right.
13!
It's more than any other wine region in the world.
Wow, I had no idea.
That's what makes these wines so complex and so interesting.
Okay, so we've got the climate, the soil, the grapes.
Yeah.
But I keep seeing this term AOC
Right.
in our research.
IOC.
Appellation d'origine contrôlée.
Yeah, that's kind of like a quality seal of approval.
For French wines.
Yes, for French wines.
So it's not just a fancy term.
Yeah,
It actually means something for the wine itself.
it does.
Tell me more.
It guarantees that the winemakers are following strict rules,
Okay.
regulations.
To maintain the quality of the wine.
Yes, the quality and the
I like
character.
Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines.
Exactly.
So it's about preserving the legacy of the region.
It is.
So when I see that Châteauneuf-du-Pape label,
Uh-huh.
I know I'm getting the real deal.
You are.
Not some imposter wine.
It's like a badge of honor.
It is.
Those regulations, they dictate a lot of things,
Like what?
like the grape varieties allowed, the yields per hectare, even the winemaking techniques.
Wow, they really take this seriously.
They do. It's important to them.
And it all started with a man named Baron Leroy
Baron Leroy, yes.
back in the early 20th century.
He was a visionary.
He saw the need to protect the wines
He did. The integrity and the reputation
of Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines.
of the region, yeah.
So we've got the popes shaping their early history.
Yes.
We've got Baron Leroy setting the stage for quality control.
That's right.
And now we have these 13 grape varieties,
Yeah.
each with its own personality.
It's like a puzzle, isn't it?
It is a delicious puzzle.
We need to put all the pieces together.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's time to delve into those 13 grapes.
Yes,
Uncover their secrets.
I'm ready for that.
Are you ready to meet the players in this flavor symphony?
Let's do it. So 13 grapes, huh?
13 grapes.
That make Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines so unique.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. Where do we even begin?
Well, we got to start with the star.
Okay.
Grenache.
Okay.
The heart and soul of most Châteauneuf-du-Pape reds.
Ah, so that's where those rich flavors come from.
Exactly, that full-bodied richness, those luscious red fruit flavors.
So when I think about Châteauneuf-du-Pape, I'm basically tasting Grenache.
You could say that, yeah, it's the driving force behind those iconic flavors.
Interesting.
Think of Grenache as like the host of a party.
Okay.
It's warm, inviting,
Yeah.
generous with its flavor,
I like that. I can picture it.
Ripe plums, juicy raspberries, a hint of spice just draws you in.
And what about the other grapes?
Ah, yes, the supporting cast.
We each play a role, right?
They do. They add layers of complexity.
So tell me about some of the other players.
Well, there's Syrah, for example.
Okay, Syrah.
It brings a bit of drama to the blend.
Drama, okay.
Intense, dark fruit flavors, blackberries, plums, and this peppery spice that just kicks things up a notch.
So if Grenache is the host,
Yeah.
Syrah is like the mysterious guest who spices things up.
Exactly. You're getting it.
I'm trying.
And then you've got Mourvedre,
Mourvedre.
adding a touch of earthy elegance.
Earthy elegance, love it.
Savory notes, leather, tobacco,
Ooh, getting complex now.
and those firm tannins. They give the wine structure, help it age.
So we've got the warm host, the mysterious guest, and the elegant elder.
I like those descriptions, yeah.
What about the rest of the grapes?
Well, there are a few more we should mention.
Yeah.
Cinsault
Cinsault.
brings a lovely floral lift, some bright red fruit.
Nice.
And then there's Cute Ice,
Canaille.
adds a whisper of spice, and keeps things lively with its vibrant acidity.
It's amazing how each grape has its own distinct personality.
It is, isn't it?
But with so many grapes in the blend,
Yeah.
how do they even make a harmonious wine?
That's the art of blending, my friend.
The art of blending.
It's like a chef combining different ingredients.
Okay.
They have to consider each grape's character, the vintage, their own style.
So it's more than just throwing everything together and hoping for the best.
So much more. There's a lot of thought, experimentation. It's about finding that perfect synergy.
Where each grape shines.
Exactly. And together they create something even greater.
So it really is an art form.
It is.
Now, what about those white Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines?
Ah, the whites. Often overshadowed by their red siblings.
But just as interesting.
Oh, absolutely. Just as delicious and complex.
And they use blends too, right?
They do, showcasing that same commitment to diversity.
So tell me about some of the key players in those white blends.
Well, you've got Grenache Blanc,
Grenache Blanc. Yeah.
often the dominant grape, brings richness, texture,
I like the sound of that.
notes of white peach, melon, and a hint of fennel.
Fennel. That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected that.
It's a little unexpected twist, adds to the complexity.
And then you said there's Roussanne.
Roussanne, right? Adds structure, aromatic complexity, floral notes, hints of honey and apricot.
Wow, so many flavors going on.
And Claret, can't forget Claret,
Claret.
adds a refreshing vibrancy, some citrusy notes to balance things out.
So we've got richness, texture, floral notes, honey, apricot, citrus.
And sometimes you even get a touch of Bourboulon.
Blanc, another one.
Adds a little minerality, a hint of almond.
Okay, I'm definitely adding Châteauneuf-du-Pape whites to my list.
You should, they're fantastic.
But now I'm wondering, what kind of food would pair well with these complex wines?
That's a great question. And the beauty of Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines is that they offer so many pairing possibilities.
So it's not as simple as red wine with meat and white with fish.
No, not at all. Those classic pairings work, of course.
Right.
But these wines have the depth to handle more adventurous combinations.
So give me some ideas. What would make those reds really sing?
Well, grilled meats, especially lamb,
Lamb, classic.
the richness of the wine matches the gaminess of the lamb perfectly.
I can imagine.
You could try it with a ribeye steak or a slow-braised short rib.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And if you're feeling adventurous,
Yeah.
try it with a Moroccan tagine.
A tagine. Interesting.
Those sweet and savory spices, cumin, cinnamon, ginger, they play so well with the wine's complexity.
I never would have thought of that.
It's a surprisingly good pairing.
Okay, what about the white Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines?
For the whites, seafood is always a good bet.
Makes sense.
Grilled sea bass, scallops, even a lobster bisque.
Ooh, fancy.
The wine's acidity cuts through that richness.
And anything a little less traditional?
Sure, try it with roasted chicken or a creamy mushroom risotto.
Roasted chicken and white Châteauneuf-du-Pape, I like it.
The richness and texture of the wine work beautifully with those dishes.
Okay, you've convinced me I need both red and white Châteauneuf-du-Pape in my life.
I knew you'd come around.
But there are so many different producers. How do I choose?
Well, there are some iconic ones you could start with.
Like who?
Domaine de la Jeunesse, known for powerful concentrated wines.
Okay.
Then there's Domaine du Vieux Télégraphe. They make elegant, balanced wines.
So there's something for everyone.
Exactly. And if you're looking for a biodynamic approach,
Okay.
Château de Beaucastel is a great choice.
I'll have to check them out.
Their wines are complex, age-worthy.
It's incredible to think about it all. The history, the terroir, the grapes, the blending.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is. Like Châteauneuf-du-Pape wines are a reflection of the region itself.
You're right. It's a culmination of all these elements.
But there's one more thing we need to talk about.
What's that?
The challenges, right?
Ah, yes, the challenges.
Climate change.
Climate change is a big one. Affects winemakers everywhere.
And Châteauneuf-du-Pape's no exception.
No, it's not.
Rising temperatures, unpredictable weather.
It's putting a strain on the vineyards.
So what are they doing to adapt?
Well, some are trying new grape varieties.
Okay.
Ones that are more resistant to heat and drought.
Smart.
Others are focusing on sustainable farming practices.
To minimize their impact.
Exactly. They're not just sitting around.
They're taking action.
They're actively trying to protect their vineyards, their legacy.
That's good to hear. They're committed to the future of Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
They are. They understand that adapting and innovating is crucial.
While still honoring the traditions.
Of course, those traditions are what make the region special.
It's inspiring to see their dedication.
It is their passion.
But let's bring this back to our listener now.
Okay.
How can they experience the magic of Châteauneuf-du-Pape?
Well, the best way to wrap up this deep dive is to encourage everyone to go on their own Châteauneuf-du-Pape adventure.
I like it. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay, so we've journeyed through these amazing vineyards,
We have
learned about the grapes,
all 13 of them.
and even dreamt up some
That's it.
delicious pairings.
Those were fun.
But what's the one thing
Hmm.
our listeners should take away
Okay, good question.
from all this Châteauneuf-du-Pape knowledge?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is there's a Châteauneuf-du-Pape wine out there
Uh-huh.
for every taste.
I like that.
You know, whether you prefer those big, bold, spicy reds
Right.
or you're more into those complex whites.
Yeah.
This region really has something to offer everybody.
It does.
And the best way to find out what you love is to try different bottles.
Experiment.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to experiment.
You know, seek out different producers.
Yeah.
Compare different vintages
Yeah.
and just see how those flavors evolve.
See what you discover.
It's a journey.
It is.
So here's a fun challenge for you,
Okay.
our listener.
I like challenges.
Think about everything we've talked about today.
All right.
The history, the terroir,
Those special stones,
the grapes,
all 13.
the winemaking traditions.
Yes.
Now imagine
There-
you're hosting a dinner party
Ooh, a party.
and you're featuring a Châteauneuf-du-Pape wine.
All right, I'm in.
What would you serve?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Would you go classic,
Maybe?
like grilled lamb with a Grenache dominant red?
That's a good one.
Or would you get adventurous
Oh,
and try something more unexpected?
like what?
Like a spicy Thai curry
Interesting.
with a white Châteauneuf-du-Pape.
Ooh, I like that.
So many possibilities.
There are.
And we want to hear what you come up with.
Yeah, share your ideas.
Share your Châteauneuf-du-Pape adventures with us.
Absolutely.
Whether it's a perfect pairing you discovered
Yes.
or a new producer that blew you away.
We want to know.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
the beauty of wine is in the exploration,
It is.
the discovery,
For sure.
and the shared experiences.
That's what it's all about.
So go ahead, uncork a bottle,
Yes.
raise a glass,
Cheers to that.
and let the magic of Châteauneuf-du-Pape
Ooh.
transport you to those sun-drenched vineyards.
And the Southern Rhone.
Until next time,
Happy exploring.
happy exploring. Châteauneuf